Hello guys, welcome to my new series of API automation. In this series, I am going to release a series of videos on API automation. And in this series, I'm going to start from the beginning. And I hope this series is going to be helpful for the person who are very new to API. Okay, and you have some knowledge or you do not have any knowledge, right? Some might be you are a manual tester, right? You want to move into automation for API automation, right? So for this case, this is going to be helpful for you guys. So I hope you guys will enjoy a lot of and you'll learn something with me. And in this series, I'm going to start from the very basic level. It is, you can see, from the very zero level. I'm going to start, and I'm going to make you very confident in this API. Okay, and so that you will be able to deal with any kind of API that you're facing, right, in real time. And after that we will see what all are the components in this for of API, right? So all the components I'll be discussing one by one. So we'll be covering minimum number of components which is you must have knowledge, right? See, there the thing is, their API itself is vast. There are a lot of components, a lot of you can see parameters are there, but non knowing all the things is not mandatory. At least you must have know the things which is you have to use every time, right? You'll be used very frequently, or might be you're going to give an interview. So in that case, you should be able to clear the interviews. So those, in that point of view, I'll be discussing the components that you must know. See, the thing is, there are a lot of YouTube channels, there are a lot of websites. I'll say that they are not, I will not say that they are not good or they are not having all the informations, but yeah, definitely there are a lot of good channels, lot of good, you can see, websites are there where you can learn. But the problem is, I completely believe that whenever you're trying to, whenever you're going to learn something new things, you will be facing that you need some guidance, you need some proper roadmap, right? So that is one of the thing which is you will not get when you are doing the self kind of study, right? So that will be lacking for you. Might be, I'm not saying it is completely for all the people. There are people I know who is very organized people, they can learn everything. And but some most of the cases I see, people are who are learning by themselves, and they are facing this kind of challenges. So in that point of view, in that respective, I'll try to make my videos very open to you guys, and so that you will get whatever doubts you have, whatever the problems you are going to face working with the API and testing. So those kind of you can see confusions I'm trying to clear here, and I'll make sure that if you complete this series of videos, so that it will be very easy for you guys to clear any interview, right? And you will be very confident to design. Let's say you need to develop a framework for REST for API automation, so that in that case you should be able to do that also, right? So here, this in this video series, this video series, I hope you will guys enjoy learning with me. And I am sure that if you watch the videos for one by one, all these videos, right, so you will definitely get a lot of knowledge, you'll definitely get confident. And I am sure that you will be able to clear your all the doubts. And if you have any doubt, or you have any confusion, or you are facing any challenges in your work, so please, you can feel free to give a comment in the YouTube videos, so that I if I see that video or comments, and if I see that something I have to reply, definitely I'll try to reply you guys. Okay, so let's start for today's video. In this videos, the very first video, I'll be starting from the very basic, some of the what I am going to cover in this complete video series, right? Well, let's see, if I talk about the REST API, right? So I hope you all guys know what is API. It is, you can see here I have mentioned application programming interface, right? So this is nothing but a application programming interface. What is about API, and what is the basic of API that we will see on our upcoming videos, and then after that we will see what are the components and what is the architecture of API, what are the tools are being used for a test cases, and then how to write a script for getting the APIs, API request and response, and then we will see how to design, how to write the test cases, and then how to uh, design a framework, right? Well, now let's move on. Let's say I'm discussing on the topic, let's say basic of API, right? So as I said that um, API, its completely full form is application programming interface, right? So I think most of the you guys are completely know about these things. This is nothing new there, but let me introduce about the architecture of API. So first thing that you have to know that architecture of RestAssured API, it is completely on you can say three-tier based architecture. It is we have one client, that is, you can see whatever client you can, it can be your any device. Let's say you have one computer device or mobile device, right? Those are going to be act as a client. Okay, here this is my first tier. This is REST assured API. REST API is called as a three-tier architecture. Okay, this is my first tier, and second tier is the my REST API, right? This is the REST API. Between my client and REST API, the communication is happening with the JSON, right? You can see here I have mentioned JSON, and this is two-way communication. And this REST API is going to connect with, there is backend server is there for each and every application. Backend server is there, right? So this REST API is going to connect with the server, and server will, and this server connection or communication is happen through the HTTP calls, right? And this HTTP calls, once the server receive the HTTP call, and it will return in response to the caller, okay, who called this particular request. So it will give a response in return, right? And after that, this response will be returned to the client in JSON format. So this is kind of you can see communication that happen when you do a request. You can be requesting from the client, or you can request from the mobile device. Your client can be your laptop, tab, or you can see mobiles, whatever, right? So you will be requesting it from your devices, and that request is in JSON format, and that after that your REST server is there, which will be picking the request, and it will communicate with your the actual application server, right? So this is kind of, you can see, architecture which is being used for the API test cases, right? See, we have method, right? Now if I say what is method in REST, right? In REST API, in API, what is the method, is what is the significance of method, or what is method? Method is nothing but what you want to perform, right? It is, let's say you, from a client you are requesting to a database, means sometime you may need some information of particular thing, right? You may need in user information or something, or you want to create an uh, user information into a particular server, right? Let's say you are registering for a particular person, so that means you are going to create a uh, data set to a particular application. So depending on the type of access, depending on the type of uses, right, we can see there are a lot of different type of method we have in the API. So the methods are like, let's say, it is actually the what type of you can say operations. So there are multiple type of operation we have there for APIs. These are, you can see, if I mention, so you can see that one of the type is get method, and there we have post method, and then we have put method, and similarly we have delete method, right? and so on. There are other methods also. So most of the method which is being used in API calls, those are the these first four methods, right? Get method, post method, put and delete method. So these are the mostly used methods that we use in the REST calls, right? So get method in the sense, I'm just going through the very you can say basic introduction about this name, so that you should be able to uh, get familiar with these keywords. So what is the get is something you are trying to fetch some data. So let's say you want to fetch some data from the server. This is your server and you want to fetch some data to your client, right? So in that case the get service will be get called, right? Similarly, if you're trying to enter some data, you are trying to some entry, make some entry into the server. Let's say you are trying to register a particular new client, right? So in that case, the type of operation you have to perform, that is nothing but a post operation. And a put operation, it is nothing but you want to your entry is already there in the server. Now you want to update your details, right? So in that case, you'll be using the put operation. And the delete operation is nothing but you want to, let's say you want to delete some record from the server, right? In that case the delete operation, or you can say delete method is being used for the REST calls. Remember one thing guys, here it is completely depends on the developers who is going to develop the API calls. It is not mandatory, but it is a recommended. The meanings of the get is always should be fetching the data. Post is always should be creating a new entry into the database, and put is always should be updating some data and it delete request. So if I write it, it is like for fetching data, and post is create new record, right? And put is update record, and delete is simply delete record. Now, remember one thing, guys. This is not mandatory, but yeah, recommended. Okay. So sometimes people make confusion that we cannot update by using the post call, right? But that is not true. It is completely depend on the developers how they are going to develop the APIs, right? So you have to always check with your developer that what is the method you have to call for performing this particular operation. Sometimes you can see that this delete operation developer has given within the post call, right? So in that case you cannot use the delete operation. But yeah, mostly to make the standardized process, this is something we have to use. Okay, so you have to know this, but this is not mandatory. As I always say, as I said, that this is not mandatory, but this is recommended. Okay, I hope you guys understand this one. Okay, now let's move on. I'll be talking about the headers. Headers are, it is a kind of, you can say, informations that you have to pass, right? It is a kind of info. There are two kind of info headers we have. One is headers for, you can say, request header, and is the another is the request headers, and that is for response header. So request header is nothing but what you said at the time of doing the API calls, right? And here developer asks you to provide some headers, that what you need to what do you want, means it is the kind of, you can say, metadata information we pass, right? It is kind of metadata information info. So request header is nothing but metadata information of what you are, how the request you are sending to the server. It is containing the metadata information. That means what kind of information we provide this through this request header is like what is the type of data you are sending, whether it is in format of JSON or it is in format of XML or a text, or anything, some other format you are following, and what is the format of data you want to accept. You want to accept in a JSON format or HTML format or text format, right? So those kind of information we generally provide into this request header. And there is, once you hit an API, and you will get a response from the server, and that server also sent you one header, and that header is containing the information about the response, that what is the times it is used, right? And what is the response type data, right? The content of the data type. So this kind of information that you will see later on, we will see on this on detail also, but right now I'm just discussing about these things, so you guys will get at least a very small knowledge or this term and technologies, right? After this, one of the thing is URL. You can understand that this is nothing but going to be similar to your HTTP URL, so that it will be the connecting to the database server, right? It will be having the host domain name, and might be some path or path parameter, or you can say query parameter, right? So those kind of things is going to be there in this URL. And we have some parameters also. Let's say you have to pass some parameter, means some key and value pairs. Parameter is nothing but a key and value pairs. And after that, body is nothing but is like, you can say, for for creating an user entry, right, into a database. So you need user email, user name, user password. So those kind of information you need, right? So we pass those information through this body part. Response is nothing but, you can see, whatever request you have given to the server, in you can say return, you will be getting the response. And this response is contains all the data of the response. It will contain the body, it will contain the header, it will contain the status code. All this information is going to be there. We'll see on the next video about in details of on each and everything practically, right? I'm just covering this in short. So another is response code. It is a one. It is again to going to be very important part. What is response code, and what all are the response code you face, right, during the testing. So we'll discuss on this topics on our next video. This video is going to be a large one, so I'm going to stop it here. I'll see you in my next video. I hope you guys will be learning with me, and you will understand the complete REST API automation. And let me know if you have any confusion, you doubt, if you want, if you're stuck anywhere. I'll try to uh, I'll try to resolve your query. Okay, yeah, let's see. Bye.